Okay.
We're really pleased to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Interested to hear about your experiences on your respective films. So obviously, we'll start with yourself, with Man with Golden Gun, Britt. What are your sort of memories of the life on set, I suppose, back in?
Very pampered. I was a very pampered pet.
Okay.
Very good experience, very exclusive. Bond girls don't sweat, they glow.
Okay.
And wonderful producer, Cabby Broccoli. I think anyone you speak to within the Bond franchise will tell you the same thing, not just me, and through the years. And it was obviously a memorable character, Mary Goodnight, because otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here.
Absolutely. Are you surprised by how long it sort of lasted and still going as strong?
Oh yes. It had a little lull for a couple of years, but I think I was away having a baby then. So, yeah, no, and it's very exciting. And the thing is that everyone involved with it, on every level, not just as actors, are equally excited and equally enjoy being part of this whole Bond franchise.
And Richard, yourself, obviously you're in 2 Bond films. How did you get involved with the role of such an icon as Jaws?
Well, I was interviewed by Cabby Broccoli, and he liked some of the ideas I had to play the character, and he got cast, and found Louis Gilbert, the director, to be very open to ideas of making Jaws more fun and interesting, and Roger Moore to be such a kindly gentleman. I remember in America, we started scene by saying action, and in England, they will call your name. And if you're the character that's supposed to be the one starting the scene, for me, when somebody said Richard, I said, huh, what? And Roger said to Louis, the director, Louis, in America they use action. It's fine with me. Just use action. Richard's used to that. So, I mean, that was a kind of kindly gesture they made towards me. So we had great people to work with.
Have you got a favourite Bond? Because you're obviously both Roger Moore, sort of. Any particular favourite?
Well, everybody today has asked that question.
Okay.
And I was asked that question at the royal premiere of The Spy Who Loved Me. And it really put me on the spot because, I grew up as a young man in the George Lazenby era and all those great early Bond films. And here I worked with this wonderful, kindly, superhuman Roger Moore that let Jaws be fun and entertaining and even steal some scenes. And he didn't care. He was all for it. And I really respected him and liked him, and still do. So here I am. What do I say? Who makes the best Bond? So I have to say I kind of go for George Lazenby.
Okay.
Well, I know obviously Roger Moore because I worked with him, and I think he personified Ian Fleming's description of James Bond. But I also very much liked Pierce Brosnan. I thought he made a fantastic Bond. Very much sort of on the level of Roger Moore, but, Irish, of course.
Yeah, that's true. Suave and debonair Irishman.
Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah, and there was a lull just before the first Bronson movie, just before GoldenEye, like there is right now. And the gross of that film was fantastic. It really hit the ceiling box office wise. So I think that's going to happen with Skyfall.
If there's one memory you've taken away from working on this, what would it be?
Well, for me, it would be sitting in a screening room at MGM, watching The Spy Who Loved Me for the very first time, not knowing whether I would live or die at the end. And when Jaws popped out of the ocean and survived, hearing the audience applaud and scream and yell and cheer. Wow. For an actor. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Can you narrow it down, Britt?
I think that for me, which is very typical of that era, is when the car chase, the car goes across the bridge does a complete turnaround and lands. And the fact that they had worked on that for 3 months in Detroit with AMG, and we were all lined up on the bank, on the riverbank, just holding our breath, because there is no second take. That's it. And it wasn't digitally manipulated. That's it. And we were all like, I mean, I've never felt such tension in my life. And when it landed, it was just like, wow! A bomb just exploded on the bank. Everyone was screaming and hollering and crying, and you know, and there was hundreds of cameras, but you know, not hanging from the trees or like today. They were all on tripods, all little cameras on tripods everywhere. That was a very exciting moment for me.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.